And this is what we look forward to. Hey, man, they're ready to go. Jim Jackson's with me. You want to go play with the Lakers, too?
Hey, look, talking about age, I'm old. I can fit in there.
I mean,
now I'm not playing no defense. I'm just going to stand in the corner and spot up and catch some threes. No defense, bro.
Oh, he's ready to shoot. Hey, with that said, you are now rocking with the best. Ro Parrish here in Studio B. We continue our previews of teams with the Lakers with the NBA legend and College Hall of Famer Jimmy Jackson. Talk of all the offseasons, once this roster was assembled, age. The memes,
big time.
I mean, the memes are out there, but just to kick things off, we know this team is long in the tooth. Ultimately, is this going to hinder or help this Lakers team?
Well, it depends because health is the major issue once you start to get older. But the way this roster is constructed, logging minutes is not going to be an issue because it'll be dispersed, I think, throughout the course of the year. You also have some young talent still. Malik Monk, Kent Bazemore is older, but don't get me wrong. Thalen Horton-Tucker still is pretty young. Anthony Davis, if he's healthy, is still pretty young. But it's all about when you're healthy, which the Lakers want is when? At the end of the year. So they're not going to put a lot of burden and pressure on their bodies during the course of the year. I think Frank Vogel is going to be very systematic with how he divides up the minutes to ensure that they're healthy when they need it best, which is come playoff time.
Toward the end of the season, 6 players that are over the age of 32. Once Dwight turns 36 in December, they have 4 players over the age of 36. You might get called.
Listen, man, I'm a little sensitive because I'm older too now. I'm 50, bro. So I understand what they're talking about when you're always talking about the age thing. I get kind of sensitive on that too.
Hey, man, you're as young as you feel, and of course, he feels good, I feel good. So let's go down the checklist of everything that the Lakers needed. The summer to-do list. Number 1, Jimmy, get another playmaker. They get that with Russell Westbrook.
Well, part of the issue was last year, it was when LeBron went off the court, who was going to make plays, okay? Dennis Schroeder wasn't in that role. He was more of a scoring point guard. So the efficiency in the offense kind of fell off. You don't have to worry about that with Russell Westbrook when LeBron James is absent and on the court. And the interesting part is how they'll play off of each other. Does Russell make it easier for LeBron to get shots? And now will we see a little different Russell Westbrook, kind of when he played with Harden a little bit, to be able to get some easy opportunities because of LeBron James. So the playmaking, check that right there because Westbrook, we know, can do it as good as anybody else.
Yes, he can. Of course, we know that he can dish the ball with the best of them. Now we go to perimeter shooting. Mm-hmm. We know that they lost some players. Caruso shot over 40% last year. They end up bringing in different players to fill in that role to shoot the perimeter outside shot better.
But you know what? The big question last year was, can the Lakers knock down enough three-point shots? Do they have enough shooters? Well, over the summer, again, you build your roster around your superstars. You say, okay, who can we get that now can keep the court spread? Carmelo Anthony, Malik Monk. You look at those Kent Bazemore, Rondo, Ellington, all shot career highs. Here's the key, from the three-point line. Now, not volume shooters, but they add to the mix of what you're doing. You throw Trevor Ariza in there, who shot 35%. Now you have guys that spread the perimeter. They keep things open for LeBron, AD, and Russ, more importantly, to get downhill and attack. So they address that issue with veteran players, but also sprinkled in a couple of young guys that still can knock down jump shots.
Well, of course, we know defense wins championships. And you have to protect that painted area. So not necessarily bigger in a sense, but they have different players that maybe represent what they had in 2020 when they won in the bubble.
What was the success? They protected the paint with JaVale McGee and also Dwight Howard when they were in the bubble. Okay, so you want to kind of get back to that. Last year was a difficult challenge because Marc Gasol, at times on the perimeter, when he got switched out, he couldn't really guard that way. Andre Drummond wasn't a rim protector, so they went back to what kind of made them successful during the bubble. Dwight Howard is very familiar. Now, he's older in age, but yet he does a good job on the perimeter when he switches out. DeAndre Jordan, maybe not as much, but when you come down the lane, there's a big body in there. They're going to need that, in particular in the Western Conference with the amount of big bodies that are in there now with Jokic and Nurkic and Karl Anthony Towns and things like that.
Definitely going to need that size. Well, we know LeBron has that size. So from one of Ohio's finest to another, obviously he's closer to the Omega than the Alpha. What should we expect from LeBron this season?
Listen, man, when it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, but LeBron is so strategic in how he plays. Again, he's up in age, yes. We saw a little bit of that last year, but Mother Nature always wins, but LeBron is going to compete with Mother Nature by how he takes care of himself. And again, having the roster that he has right now, look at the number of players that you have. multiple All-Stars that have been there, done that before. The pressure won't be on LeBron to have to do everything. And I think that's what the Lakers brass really looked at and said, how can we lessen the burden on LeBron James that now the pressure to have to do everything, every game, is not there. So to me, that benefits him in the short term, bro, but more importantly, it benefits him in the long term to compete for a championship.
Now, we know chemistry is so important. We know Russell Westbrook and LeBron have appeared in the Nas video, Brunch on Sunday, so they're already developing that chemistry. But how is that chemistry going to come across on the floor with these two players together?
Well, first of all, it's a conversation that the two had to say, can we really work together? An honest conversation, bro. Right. You know, that's the thing about it. When two superstars get together and say, kind of like Anthony Davis, now, two different roles, but they can coexist because this is what they really want to do. And what does Russell ultimately what? He said, I have accomplished so much in this league, but now it's time for me to win.
No question.
And how do you win? You win with the best. So you sacrifice. So here's the key word. They're willing to sacrifice some things in order for the ultimate prize, which is the championship. And these are two mature veterans. And I think with LeBron James, because he's so inclusive as a leader, he forces you to be like, you know what? The selfish part, me getting numbers, that's not what's important. Right. What's important is the trophy. So I don't see that as an issue with these two as we enter into training camp, preseason, and the regular season.
They definitely have some playmakers. Among the active leaders in assists, they have 3 of the top 4 with LeBron, Westbrook, and, of course, Rondo. In fact, let's take a listen to some of those guys right here.
We need Russ to be Russ. We need Russ to change for anybody. That's why we got him. And it's our job to all help him feel comfortable in our system. And he's going to be as dynamic as he's always been. So I look forward to that. We've been tied at the hip pretty much since we made the acquisition. And we're going to continue to be that. We're going to hold each other accountable. AD's going to hold us accountable. We're going to hold AD accountable because it's going to start in with us. So, we look forward to that. We look forward to continuing to getting better and figuring out ways we can be the best team we can be. By bringing our individual talents to that.
When you come to a new place, and obviously me and Bron's been friends before I came here, but been actually being on the same team and understanding his work ethic, understanding mine, understanding the preparation, understanding how bad he wants to win and the things he's able to do to prepare himself allows me to see a different side of him where we connected. I think it's because we both understand and know what it takes to be able to win, but obviously Bron understands what it takes to get to that next level, and I'm able to kind of learn and understand some things from him along the way, and I've been able to do that.
And I expect to play center. I'm not sure, what's going to happen. Me and Frank talked about it a couple of times, and that's a plan. Right now, nothing is set in stone, but we want to see what that looks like, and I'm comfortable with that. Obviously, it's times, where Dwight or DJ, might get the start at center depending on games. But for the most part, I think the plan is to go with me playing center.
Wow, that's a little bit unusual. We know that he generally doesn't like to play center, so a big change. But, Jimmy, looking at this lineup right here, so many different options, interchangeable parts. The Lakers are going to be able to use this versatility when it comes to maybe to their advantage against these different opponents.
Well, they can because you can switch 1 through 5 right there with that lineup right there. Ellington gives you the shooting. Ariza gives you a big body that can defend. The playmaking from LeBron and, of course, Russell Westbrook allows now Anthony Davis to be able to move around the court, not just be anchored inside. So the flexibility in that lineup, I think, is what's the key is. But the bigs inside, that's going to fluctuate, though, bro. Depending on who they play. Frank Vogel was very active, and I think voiced this. You're going up against a Joel Embiid, Yusuf Nurkic. You're going up against a Jokic, DeAndre Ayton, even Karl Anthony Towns. Now that lineup may switch. You may put a Dwight Howard in there, shift Anthony Davis over to the 4, so he doesn't have to, consistently going with that pounding. Right. So even though we have a projected lineup, depending on who the Lakers are playing and who those bigs are, that may tend to switch a little bit.
And, of course, Carmelo Anthony, we have to bring him up as well. Yeah. We know that, of course, again, he's longer in the tooth, but still has plenty of ability left. What should we expect from Melo this season with the Lakers?
Pretty much what you saw last year in Portland. A role player in the sense of not afraid of the moment, can give you big shot opportunities because that's what you want. With Melo, he's not going to be the Melo of 2009, 2010, or 15. You know what I mean? But what he's able to give you is a player that's not afraid of the moment.
Right.
That can knock down a big shot when you need it. You know, he's been there and done that. He did that for Portland. And the thing about Carmelo is this. A couple years ago, he was very comfortable with who he is now. He wasn't the Melo of the Denver Nuggets, okay, or the New York Knicks. He settled in and said, this is who I am. I'm comfortable in this role. And that's why he was able to perform, I think, at a higher level, even though the minutes were restricted, is because he was comfortable playing that role. I don't see that as being a difference. Now he's with his boy, too.
Oh, yeah.
He's with his boy.
Hey, it's always good when you're playing with the homies.
Come on.
So we know about this Lakers team, won the title in 2020. However, playing team last season, first-round exit. Where do you see this Lakers team finishing this year?
Well, I think with this Lakers team, it may be, not competing to be number one is not an issue. It's being healthy. Think, at the beginning of last year, they were 21-6, okay, out of the first 27 games. But then AD got hurt. Then on the back end of that part of it, 21 of the last 45 games they had some issues with because of injury.
Injury, they started to slip.
But now, here's the thing. They're in the 7th position, but they still in an opportunity to beat the Phoenix Suns. Why? Because you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. But what happened? It was injuries. So that's why how you play minutes, how you put pounding over your body over the course of 82 games is going to be important for this Lakers team. Is it important to be number one for the Lakers? No, because they know once they get in the playoff position, no matter who they play, they have an opportunity to win those games.
All factors considered, 100% healthy, does this team play in June?
If they're completely healthy, I don't see how they don't.
Really?
I really don't. If they're completely healthy. Again, it's a lot of factors that go on during the course of the year. Teams make changes, injuries happen. But if you look at a front runner in the Western Conference based on what this roster looks like, you have to give it to the Lakers and say they're the ones that should be there in June. But we know a lot changes.
Yes, a lot of things do change. Can't wait for this season to begin. The Lakers, a brand new lineup, a different team from last season. Jimmy says if they're healthy, they're going to be playing in June. I can't wait to see it.
Come on, bro.
Hey, man.